Look at the kangaroos. Melissa, say hi.
Hi.
The second my rolled-up diploma touched my hand, there was only one thought on my mind. I'm actually leaving this place. Since receiving my acceptance to Northeastern and the Inuit program, I could barely contain my excitement at the prospect of moving to Australia for 4 months, especially as it would take me so far from home. I bid my close friends, school, and theater hobby farewell, knowing that this was really a beginning, not an end. My first real culture shock happened the day we landed when I was sitting in the common area of my dorm building. An Australian girl came up to us and started chatting in the ever-so-charming Australian accent. The trouble was, none of us could understand her after a day and a half of travel and little to no sleep. Still, it definitely forced us to adjust to the Australian accent quickly. My favorite excursion organized by the Inuit program was definitely Phillip Island, which included a full day of being at the beach and soaking up the first glimpse of warmth we had gotten since arriving to Melbourne. The ocean was absolutely captivating, and I lost my breath as we stood on the massive cliff and looked out to the stunning scenery around us. The day was more than I could have ever hoped for, and I doubt I could ever duplicate the experience I had there. Through the program and ISAs, we also had other exciting excursions to places like Healesville Sanctuary, where we got to see Australian wildlife in person for the first time, and the Great Ocean Road, where we took pictures of amazing sights like the 12 Apostles and koalas in the wild. They even took us to Sydney for the weekend, letting us roam and make our own experience. On this trip, I had the privilege to see the Sydney Aquarium and Zoo. I even got to see the musical South Pacific playing at the Sydney Opera House. Service learning was another big part of our program in Australia. I participated in work for the Gawler Foundation, a not-for-profit organization that provides a retreat for people suffering from cancer. The organization serves all-natural vegan meals, with most of the ingredients coming from their own gardens. Our task was to help with the outside work, since they didn't have the manpower to accomplish all the tasks they wanted to. We finished a trail, mulched a garden, and even overturned a large plot of land so fruits and vegetables might be grown there. As a group, the whole program also did a considerable amount of volunteering. We participated in such events as Parkinson's Victoria Walk, a biking event called Bupa Around the Bay, and the Melbourne Cup horse race, where we sold pins for the charity Second Bite. This volunteering was a great way to humble us during such a unique and incredible experience, reminding us that even while we're fortunate enough to be in such an amazing place, we should still be thinking of the greater community and how we can help. My studies in Australia were an amazing opportunity for me, and I loved being able to learn on the Swinburne campus for my first semester of college. Not a lot of people can say that their first ever lecture was given in an Australian accent, or that they learned computer programming on the other side of the globe from their home. My free time between classes, excursions, and service learning was spent trying to explore. Melbourne is a gorgeous city, bursting with culture that you can see just from walking the streets. I loved being able to walk the city streets and experience its unique and artistic feel. My travels weren't limited to just Melbourne though, and I had the amazing chance to travel to the Gold Coast for my spring break. I loved being able to explore another part of Australia, but I couldn't help but find myself missing my home away from home in Melbourne.
With the people who loved me my 18 years, I'm split between home and here. I'm cut in half, two beds, two lives, and I live in between my porch back at home and this
Before I came to Australia, I considered myself a very independent person. Since arriving here, however, I realized how much more growing I had to do. I learned what independence really meant with the daily challenges I had to face. I was the one who made sure I got to classes on time and did my work when it was due. I was also the only one who could guarantee that I was taking advantage of this experience as a whole. I learned a lot about myself and the person I could be when I was away from home. The Inuin program provided me opportunities to grow into a person I never thought that I could be, and for that I am so grateful. I cannot wait to take this person back to Boston and into the greater world and see what they can do.